What's going on, guys? I am at LA Airport and I am making my way to Iceland. We have a 10-day Iceland series coming up. Gonna meet up with Greg, gonna meet up with Ivan, and it's gonna be an awesome trip, I think. Weather permitting. Apparently it's been crazy weather in Iceland, so hopefully that changes.
Spoiler? It doesn't. The weather in Iceland gets intense. But as I whisk you away on this airplane, let me jump in to tell you that this video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you're looking for a place to house your landscape photography or sell some of your work, head to squarespace.com/BrendanVenson where you'll find the building blocks to creating a beautiful website. Now, let's take a smack in the face from some fresh Icelandic wind and find some photos to make.
Okay, I made it to Iceland, picked up a rental car that I've locked, and I'm just waiting to pick up Greg because Greg's flight gets in late. I'm tired, I've kind of lost my voice somehow. And why isn't this opening? But yeah, we have a bunch of days here in Iceland and hopefully we're gonna make the most of them. The weather has been crazy here apparently, so yeah, hopefully we make some photos, but first Greg's got to get here and Ivan's got to get here and then we'll get exploring. There he is.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Reunited 2020.
What's going on,
man?
Hug. All right, it's
On
just
camera.
called a hug.
Yeah, whatever. Is that the R5?
Yeah, it's the R5.
I wish.
Your mom's an R5.
Can't wait.
Are you cold?
No, not yet. Is it
All
cold
right.
outside?
Do you need to go pee?
No.
Okay, let's hit the road.
Yeah, man, I'm good to go.
It's good to be back in Iceland. It's the land of perpetually good light and decadent hot dogs. Yeah, I said decadent hot dogs, don't judge. When the light fights through the clouds here, it's special. You can get good light for hours on end, or you can get trapped inside hiding from weather for days on end. The challenge and the reward here always lead to an adventure and some great stills. So, after catching up on jet lag in Reykjavik for a day, we headed west.
Okay, first morning, we left Reykjavik. It is absolutely beautiful right now. No wind, some really nice light on the mountains, and we've just stopped because there's a church out here that we wanted to photograph. So the weather in Iceland is always crazy. It's so crazy that right now it's beautiful and no wind, but we went through like 18 meter per second wind just a little while ago, and the road that goes just that way is actually closed. So kind of a classic Iceland day. You just got to find the spots where the weather's good and the light's good. Photographing this church off that way. I got a long lens on it, the 70-200, and I'm actually using a 30-second exposure because there's some cloud on top and I just want to soften them out a little bit. They're not moving very fast, but at 30 seconds it just smooths them down a little bit. So that's what's going on.
If the light sticks around like this all the trip, we're in for a good time. But for the second spoiler of this video, it won't. But for now, I'm loving the light. And by 10 a.m., we're already off to our second location of the day.
So we're at location number 2, and you might have saw that giant wave just hit the background here. The waves today are just crazy. There's just been some massive swell. And it is like 10 in the morning, and there is a full like sun happening. So I am using a 3-stop ND to slow down the shutter at f16, but you don't need to. I'm trying to get a half-second exposure to kind of get some movement in the water, but with waves crashing like this, you might actually be better off no filter, high shutter speed, just to capture like, you know, the spots of water jumping and really showing how intense it is. It's just an artistic decision. Since this is like my 5th time at this location in Iceland, I'm trying to do a little bit of something different today. This time I'm trying to pick out some more details, find some new compositions. So I've got a little bit of a longer lens on, 24-70, And right now I'm shooting up this gap in the rocks leading out to some other sea stacks, some really cool rock formations, and eventually the mountains in the background. And actually there's a person up there right now, so I'm gonna photograph that, even though they'll be tiny in the frame at some scale. I'm struggling a little bit though with what I want to do with the shutter speed, whether I want to go really fast at 1/250th or slow it down to like an 1/8 and get some motion. So I'm kind of just doing both. Woo! Crazy.
The photos came out alright, and honestly, as we head to our third photo location before lunchtime, I'm starting to feel greedy. Could we possibly get weather and light like this the whole trip? No, we won't. In fact, by the next episode, we'll already find ourselves in the thick of some nasty weather. So, subscribe to see what kind of snow squalls we run into over the next couple of weeks here on the channel.
We're at these sea stacks. I photographed them years ago and actually dropped my filter off that cliff. But we're getting like kind of a bland sky, but the scene in the bottom is so impressive, I don't think it matters. I'm going wide-ish on 24 to 70, and I'm waiting for some waves to crash up in the background, and I'm using like almost a 2-second exposure to show that drama. I find that kind of the wider the scene, the longer the exposure kind of works. If you go to a 1/2 second here, it almost freezes too much of the frame. So that 1.5, 2 seconds is really working, but it's just a matter of timing. Actually, exactly what I was waiting for just happened. So when it looks like swell's coming in, I've got my camera set on high speed mode, and I just literally push the shutter down and wait for the scene to happen, and then hopefully one of the frames grabs the moment I'm looking for.
Now, before anybody says anything to me about standing beyond the barrier, when we arrived, I behaved myself and stood on the platform. But a local group of Icelandic photographers was shooting from beyond. Seeing that they were locals, I asked them what the rules were, because the last time I was there, a local told me to get back within the barriers. But they said that during the permafrost, it's fine. You can't really damage the landscape, but you still need to be careful. When in doubt, ask a local.
Wow, the weather is just, I gotta knock on wood because it's just too perfect right now. Just the snow is so beautiful here. We're in Kirkjufell, that's Kirkjufell Mountain. That's Grundarfjörður. I don't know how to pronounce anything. We're gonna head out and shoot sunset hopefully later, and potentially if it clears, maybe some northern lights because they are being forecasted. So I'm stoked, this is so good. I mentioned Greg was here. My boy Ivan's here too. What's up, Ivan?
I'm good.
We're at Kirkjufellsfoss now, and I've got 2 photos I want to try to make here. One of them is back over at, name that town.
Grundarfjörður.
Yeah, exactly. Grundarfjörður. One is back that way with a long lens. I shot that years ago. It was published actually by The Guardian, and I want to kind of replicate that with the snow because it's beautiful. And then I also want to shoot a classic shot of the waterfall because there's all this snow and ice on it right now, and it just looks totally different than I've ever seen it.
On a nice day in Iceland, you can make a dozen good photos, but the weather can change in a heartbeat. So when the weather's good, you don't wait around for epic light, you just take the photo. And in decent light, I grabbed this 5-image panel that I quite like. Then, I turned my back to the falls and took aim at Grundarfjörður.
Okay, we got the 70 to 200 up. I really like the telecompression of this shot with the town and the mountain, but the town was getting light up until like 3 minutes ago, and now it's not getting the light. You're still getting some light on the hills in the background, so it still kind of works. But it's not what I was hoping for. Still, the scene with all this snow is just crazy. Have you ever seen it like this, Gregoire?
Yeah, last year in winter.
We didn't have snow last year in winter.
No,
You nutter.
it wasn't this snow covered, but yeah, it looks great. It looks really, really cool.
We had like a touch of snow, I think, on Kirkjufell, but not like definitely not like this. And the waterfalls definitely weren't frozen. Greg, his memory must be shot. And the funny thing is,
short-term memory loss. No idea why.
Greg, tell the camera when you learned we were doing the ring road on this trip that we've been planning for a year and a half.
Yeah, I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
No, we're talking about it right now. So
I forgot that we were doing the ring road.
No, forgot?
Oh no, I remembered.
No.
I realized about 2 days before it started.
Greg had no idea until this morning that we were doing the whole ring road. Oh no, yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Just picking up the cars. But it was a pleasant surprise.
Just to prove I'm right about the snow last year, here's a photo from 2019 at Kirkjufellsfoss. Hell, here's some of Greg's own B-roll. Now here's this year. In fact, let's do a split screen for a bit.
Every time I come to Iceland, I always say the same thing. My goal for the trip is to try to photograph things differently than I have in the past. Here at Kirkjufellsfoss, I think I'm forced to because there's so much snow and ice on the waterfall that you can't even tell the water's falling. I've got a cool new composition here that I've never photographed before, but it's not phenomenal because of the fact that you can't really see the waterfall.
The composition feels a little bit unbalanced, so I headed down to the base of the lower falls and scrambled over the rocks to try to get a vantage point I've never photographed before. Thankfully, down here, it kind of works like a perspective shift. And the frozen falls are really nicely balanced by the mountain.
Okay, so I actually think I found a cool spot. Greg showed some B-roll just now of it, and now I've escaped because the light's dead. So we didn't really get that epic light today, but at sunset at Kirkjufellsfoss, it's pretty rare that happens because the sun kind of sets behind the mountain this time of year and there's usually cloud back there. So we're gonna try again at sunrise and potentially northern lights if it clears up a little bit. There's supposed to be northern lights tonight. So I'm gonna carry the video on. I found my spot. I'm definitely gonna shoot that same spot if there's northern lights or sunrise because I really, really like that. So let's get some sleep and I'll see you in the morning. I'm gonna go ahead and say that there's not gonna be a sunrise this morning as we're getting hit with these gusts of like icy snow. I don't know what it is. Hopefully the next video has photos and less snow. Peace.
Thanks for watching, guys, and a massive shout out to squarespace.com for sponsoring this video. If you're looking for a place to house your travel photography website or blog or whatever, head to squarespace.com/Brendan Vanson and you'll get a discount on your first purchase. And if you're looking for some more Iceland content, check out there. And if you're not subscribed yet, click on my head.